Hello there. So this week we've obviously had the big major Marvel trailer with Avengers Doomsday, but yesterday we also got a DC trailer for a much smaller film, to put it mildly, Clayface. So I'm just going to give my thoughts on this. Now, there was a teaser that came out like 3 months ago, so this would be like the first main full trailer for it. Overall, I thought it was excellent. I thought it was really good. You would never, if it wasn't for the DC logo, if you didn't know anything about this, if you just seen this trailer, or that you didn't know anything about DC comics or anything like that, comic movies or anything, you'd have thought, oh well, this is a new horror film, like an original horror film, and it actually really hit that mark extremely well. I think it was uncomfortable to watch at times, which it should be. It also gave vibes of the Sam Raimi's Darkman that came out in like 1990, I think it was, because Liam Neeson and that. And that's a film I vaguely remember watching, but I remember bits of it, so I need to rewatch it again to get it properly. But it did, yes, it did absolutely give those vibes off, which in that film would go on to become a cult favorite, and that. So yeah, I mean, some of the imagery in this looked really well. Of course, this is much lower budget and things like that. This is not quite the same swing and a miss or anything like that, like a big budget film like Supergirl or whatever would be for the DC. And I like the film as well. I'm very positive on that film. But this film is kind of its own little thing, and here's the thing I'll say about this. Even though like James Gunn obviously didn't direct Supergirl, and there was a lot of and Craig Gillespie came out and said a few things as well, so who knows what's going on behind the scenes there. You can see with the marketing and with that and the song choices and everything like that, it did feel like yeah, you'd be forgiven for thinking that was directed by James Gunn if you didn't know anything. But with this actually feels completely different from the James Gunn template. I don't know who the director is, but I think Mike Flanagan, the horror writer and director, is one of the writers on this. I'm not sure if he's directing it or not, but I don't think so. But I could be wrong. But this actually feels distinct and unique, and maybe this might just be a good timing for this because after, like I said, even though I like the film personally, let's call a spade a spade. Supergirl has bombed spectacularly, and this kind of change of pace might be what this new DC needs. Because this could be the type of film that actually appeals to horror fans rather than just even horror fans who don't give a shit about comic book movies. So, like I said, this looks like it could be one of those films that could actually bring in audiences that don't really care for comic films, but they like horror or whatever and drama and things. This actually could be. I'm not saying this is going to be some big gigantic juggernaut, but it doesn't at the box office. But it doesn't need to be because it's a much lower budget. So, you've got you start here. You've got the vibes well done. You've got the guy. I don't know who the actor is. I mean, I don't know anyone who's in this film that I know of. So you've got the guy. He's got the plastic mask thing on, and he's talking to the like surgeon. I should assume it is. It looks like you get a thing. It looks like I get the whole story with Clayface. He's an actor and things like that, a vain actor and that. And he got his. It looks like he got his face cut up by the mob and things like that. So you've got talking about doing this new procedure, and you see like all the gooey stuff on the the side there, which yeah, body horror stuff. It looks incredibly good. Oh, by the way, speaking of body horror, one of the best scenes in the Odyssey recently involves body horror. So plus as well reminds me a bit of Sabrina Carpenter's Man-Child video. I'm just saying, just a little reference in there to that. Not the video itself, but just a little moment in that video. So Sabrina reference shoehorned in there. You're welcome. But yeah, I think this actually looks really good. He talks about how he needs the procedure and all that stuff, and doesn't want to go on with his face like that. And you see the bit when he's on a plane, and then his face starts melting right in front of a passenger, and then he goes into the bathroom and he's got scissors and things. Quite how he'd be allowed to get that on a plane, don't know, but whatever. Hey, it's a movie, just go with it. And then you've got the last shot as well when you've got the person looking up, and then you see the back of the clay face of a taking the fully formed, so you don't actually get to see it, which I think is a really great tease. I actually hope they don't show it beforehand. I think that would be really cool. So the first time you actually see Clayface in full form is when you see the film. I think that would actually be pretty cool if they did it that way. Whether they'll be able to help themselves or not with that, I don't know. Time will tell them that, I suppose. But yeah, this is an excellent trailer. I would really. It's I was interested in this film, and now it's took me up to like being interested to actually being quite excited, and it's actually moved me up even my expectations up even more. So there you have it. That's just my thoughts on the Clayface trailer. Thanks for taking the time to listen, and goodbye.